Hi everyone, it's Jo Huey. I wanted to talk to you today about more how families can do more damage than good sometimes, and that's not intentionally, and I also can understand why families make the decisions that they do, because I've been there and I've done it myself. But in hindsight, I've learned that some of those things weren't really helpful, and I think that if we can take that on the chin and appreciate that actually we don't necessarily know what's best and we don't always do the right thing, then that will really help to get past the need to control everything and think that we do know best and what we're doing is right. Because often people that have come through the other end have done all the things that you might be doing now or have done and realised that it didn't work. So I think it's quite important to learn from others and to know that actually some of the things that families might do are going to do more damage than anything. So one of the things that comes up is that families can actually be quite manipulative, as can the drinkers. So we are para-alcoholics, so we do act in the same way as them but for different reasons. So there's lots of similarities between the drinkers and the families. However, we may not want to admit that. There's too much evidence and proof to the contrary. So I think that we can use emotional blackmail. We can say, well, if you really love me, you wouldn't drink. And again, if somebody's at the dependent stage, it isn't about you and it isn't even about them. It's about pain. And initially anyway, they drink because they're in a lot of pain in some form or another. Sometimes physical pain, sometimes emotional pain. And then it just becomes that they become dependent. Their body can't go without it. So it really isn't about you. It's about survival. So that's why they need to drink. I think one of the other things that families probably do that don't help is they don't always talk about it. They don't talk about the problem because probably they don't know how to. They don't know what to say. They feel like everything they say is the wrong thing, that the drinker manipulates it and turns it around and makes it their fault. But what's important to do is to talk about how you feel, how it's impacting on you, the changes that you've noticed in them, and not in a judgmental way, just observations of what you've noticed and the person that they once were and how much you miss that person. And also, I think denying feelings that you have is also not helpful, because a lot of the time we feel quite hurt and sad about the situation, but it can come out in an angry and aggressive and frustrated way, or we get manipulative or whatever. We act out in a different way rather than just saying, I'm really struggling with this situation, I'm finding it really difficult. Sometimes those conversations aren't always possible when the drinker's drinking and in the midst of their drinking, but there will be times where you can have those conversations. Usually also there's lots of blame and anger, embarrassment as well. And again, I think that these things can get in the way of our relationships with that person. Sometimes they make it really difficult to have a relationship with them, and sometimes for the family members, distance is a really good thing. If you can get some distance, you can get some headspace, you can have some time to think. And boundaries have always got to come into it, and you have to look after yourself and children if you are responsible for children. Another thing that comes up is families often will throw away the alcohol that they find in the house. And I think that, again, it doesn't really work long term, because the drinker will just get more and it won't really have the impact that probably families are hoping it will. If I throw it away, then they won't drink. They will drink, they'll find the money, and it can also cause other problems, because then they'll go and steal or do other things in order to get the money to buy the drink. So throwing it away is not going to help. Now, if you choose not to have alcohol in the house, that's a boundary that you set, then that's your choice, but you make that clear to them. And if you find it and you don't want it there, you have to make a decision about what you're going to do, and that's up to you how you decide to carry that out. Also, the other thing that families can do which don't necessarily help is buying alcohol for them. Many professionals will say that this is just enabling their addiction, and it's not for you to go out and get that for them. I also understand that sometimes if they're physically unable to get out and things like that, then obviously that makes it a little bit more of a challenge, but ultimately if they want to get it, they will. So I would avoid buying alcohol for them, because why do you want to get involved in that whole process? It's not your business. If they want to be addicted to something, that's their choice, but you don't have to play a part. Also, I think when people get newly sober, it's really important for the family to support them through that, because they are not going to need to be around alcohol when they've just got sober, and they may think they'll be okay, but actually it's like taking a kid in a sweet shop. So why put yourself in that situation? I'm not saying that family shouldn't drink and why should I stop drinking just because they've got a problem. Yeah, that's true. You don't have to. But if this is somebody you love and you want to build a better relationship with, then is it not worth the investment in the short term? Because this isn't going to be forever. Some people will be in a good place after a year, sometimes longer, but immediately after somebody's done a detox or come out of rehab or anything like that, having alcohol around and drinking in front of them isn't really going to be very supportive, and it's going to make their life difficult, especially if you go to social occasions and maybe the people you're going out with don't know that the person's just gone through a detox. You have to think about all of these things if you're invested in this person and you love them and you care about them and you want to support them. It's all your choice, just like stopping the drink is their choice. They don't have to, they can continue and to the point of killing themselves, but that's their choice and we can't control that. We can't make anyone do anything unless they really want to. So I think that those are the main things that I wanted to sort of cover off. There's loads of other things, but I think they're some of the key points that came to mind in terms of common things I hear about from families and what they do and how they can not be always so helpful. So hopefully that's been useful. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and share the video with others. Share it on your social. You never know who might be listening and who might actually benefit. Sometimes we assume people wouldn't want to know something when we actually have got no idea what they're going through. So yeah, I'd appreciate your support and I hope this is helpful. Take care.